Okay, we are moving on to a second part of 1-3. That is estimating real numbers. Any real number is either rational or irrational. Yesterday we talked about rational. Today we're going to apply our knowledge with irrational. Irrational is just the square root of not a perfect square. Okay, that's all it is. You can't really see it good. So when you estimate a square root, you don't know exactly what it is, and you are not allowed to use a calculator with this. You need to use your logic to estimate these square roots. Okay, Austin? So the first thing you want to do is identify the two perfect squares it lies between. Okay, you're going to identify the two perfect squares it lies between. The second thing we're going to do is determine which one it is closest to. And then we're going to write down the estimate. Okay? You are going to do this tons during 8th grade. It is a very abstract skill that a lot of kids start, once you get it, you're like, ooh, yeah, this is awesome. But it's one of those things where you don't use it, you lose it. Where all of a sudden in March, I'll be like, hey, estimate this irrational number. You're like, what? What's an irrational number? And I have to remind you again. So, the square root of 32. Which two perfect squares does 32 lie between? It lies between 25 and 36, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
So this is what I do. 25, 36. The square root of 25 is what? The square root of 36 is what? So it lies between the number 5 and 6. I put this number line there just to see about where it's at. So is 32 closer to 25 or closer to 36? So it's about right there, right? Over halfway. So if we would call it 5 point, what do you want, 6? Or 5.7? 5 point, oh yeah, because it's only 4 away, 5.8 would work. Okay? It's a rough estimate. You don't have to be exact. And this is where it gets fun. You can use your calculator to see how close you are. But I don't want you to use a calculator to tell the answer. So I do the square root of 32, and it's 5.65. I was really close. I was really close. 20. Which two perfect squares does 20 lie between? Right, so 16 and 25, right? So 16 and 25. Look at my strategy. Write my strategy down. That I'm writing down the perfect squares, and I'm writing what their square root is. Okay? Now is 20 closer to 16 or 25? 16, right? It's kind of right halfway in between it, isn't it? So maybe I could even just call it 4.5. And I use the number line, it would be left to right, 4 point whatever it is. Okay? Now let's see what it really is. So I'm punching in my calculator, square root of 20 is 4.47, rounded 4.5, if I round it to the nearest 10. Square root of 90. 81 and 100?
Yeah.
Write it down. Lies between 81 and 100. The square root of 81 is 9. The square root of 100 is 10. I'm 9 away from 81, 10 away from 100, so I'm kind of closer to my 9, not by much. I might even be halfway. I'll just write 9.5. I'm going to just check. And it's 9.48.